Hi, it's Maggie. How are you? What's got you in the mood today to give us a call? Wow. What I look like? Well, I'm 5'7". I have long brown hair. I have big green eyes, nice suckable, kissable lips. I am a natural double D with nice big dark areolas and very nice puckered nipples. I'm not the thinnest girl. I've got some ass on me, and I know a lot of guys like a big fat ass to hold and squeeze. I've got nice, sexy legs and suckable, lickable nipples and beautiful toes to match.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. As you can see on the screen here, we have our good old former phone sex operator and good friend of ours, Maggie. She is back. Maggie, thank you for coming back.
You're welcome. Hello.
So the last episode we did was honestly a lot of stuff that I didn't know. Um, Very interesting stuff. We got very good feedback from a lot of people,
Awesome.
and a lot of people enjoyed your voice. So
Oh,
looks like
really?
25 years in the business did something really good, huh?
Dang. Okay.
We are short one person right now. My dad is out. He said he will be joining us soon, but he should be joining us relatively soon.
Okay, cool.
Other than that, how have you been since our last speaking?
Well, I have been awesome. Just, you know, I'm starting a coding class, medical coding.
Really
Yeah, I paid a lot of money for it. Just got the books today.
nice.
A lot of the money went to the books. But so I'm going to be really busy in doing that. I'm excited. I'm excited. So,
Good. Well,
yeah.
that's really good.
Yeah.
And
How,
so,
go ahead.
sorry, no.
I was saying, how about you? How's everything going?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Still working on this. Still, I don't know if you could tell, but I got a fancy new little laptop that allows me to do cool stuff like this
I,
in the background.
I love that. I love that.
Thank
That
you.
is very cool.
So, without further
Hmm.
ado, we did get one critique, however, from our last episode. That critique was
Okay.
people wanted to know the dirty side of phone sex operating. Now, we did touch on quite a few things.
Yeah.
But from what I got on YouTube, some of the comments, and on Facebook with some of the comments and messages was we could have dug deeper.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The reason why I did not dig deeper is because I didn't know how far I could go.
Oh,
Now that you've told me,
oh yeah,
I mean, I can go as deep as you want. I mean, I could go so deep we'll go to Australia. So it's totally up to you.
okay.
I was scared that you would get in trouble. So that was the only reason why I didn't
Oh
go
no,
so deep. But
no,
most
no.
definitely, I mean, I do have to admit it's a raunchy career.
Hmm.
You know, if you want to call it that, I mean, you can only do it for so long. I never stayed the full 24 years in it. I mean, I would get burned out. Then I would get hard up for cash.
Right, right.
Then I'd find another job and I'd do it again. And you know, it, it, it is what it is.
Yeah, but it's a business that you've come to know and that you've come
Yes.
to
Appreciate. I do
appreciate.
appreciate. Yeah, I do. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Doing phone sex, I purchased a home. I got my master's degree. So, I mean, it's not like I just stayed home, ate bon. I mean, the myth of overweight women laying on the couch on the phone eating bonbons is incorrect. I mean,
Right.
you have ladies that are currently, when they're not on the phone working, they're working towards their other goals. But in the meantime, when we are working, we are
Working.
working. We have to work. I mean, we talk about some crazy stuff. We do some crazy stuff, you know.
So actually, that's a really good
Yes.
segue because that's going to be one of my questions.
Okay.
Now, I know in some workplaces, probably even most workplaces,
Hmm.
women they kind of get together, they gossip. Some of the men even like to do that too. What is the difference between women gossiping at, let's say, Costco, and then women co-workers of phone sex operators. Do you still speak with those women now?
I only have one very close friend who she was a dispatcher as well, but they don't allow phone sex operators to cohort together because in fear that they will, you know, tell their secrets, or they might get together and start stealing customers and start their own phone sex company. I've
Oh.
seen it before. They keep the girls very separate. When I was a dispatcher, they had a lot of two-girl calls.
Mhm.
Most of the two-girl calls were with me because I would call the girl and then we'd do our call. And the reason why they wanted me to be one of the girls was I wouldn't release any information like, oh, how much are you getting for this call? It depends. Like if the guy, let's say for example, a guy wants to speak to Maggie and
Mhm.
he wants a younger girl because, somebody like a virgin type of girl.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get the extra money because I was the request. The other girl is going to get a lower pay because we're bringing her into the call. So, but we
Wow.
never discuss pay. So, and otherwise you're going to have animosity. I mean, there was a lot of animosity towards girls. I think, like I mentioned last time, I had where I'd have a girl on the phone. I'm going to give her a call, but then I get a phone call. So I, of course, have to put her on hold, but I don't have her on hold. I just put her down, put the phone to the customer.
Mhm.
The customer's talking about other girls. I get what he wants. I hang up with him, and then I go back on the call with the girl, and all of a sudden she's talked to him. Girls are very possessive. All of a sudden, that's her customer. Why is he calling? Who does he want to talk to? Why is he
Right.
calling her for? You know what I mean? So the
Right.
next thing you know, when she talks to the guy again, so did you enjoy your call with Monica? How is Monica? Did she make you come like me? And it's like, dude, you're not his girlfriend. You're a fucking 5-minute fuck. That's, in 7 minutes if you're really good.
So men would get really
Women
territorial, or women,
women would
excuse me.
get very territorial, correct. And I'm
Really?
not gonna lie, me too. When I would, as a dispatcher, when I wasn't dispatching, I'd come on for extra money, and then I'd hear my customers that always talk to me when I'm working, and I'm like, why didn't she not mention my name that I'm on? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then I would get possessive, and then I would get kind of then all of a sudden it's like I'm going to make him come harder than that bitch did because I know she's not that good. I mean, it's almost like a contest. I'm going to make him come better so this way he'll never ask for Samantha again. I'm going to make
Yeah.
him I'm going to make him suffer more so he'll never ask for Alexa again. So I mean, it's just very territorial and very competitive.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sounds like a dog fight to me.
a bitch fight, a cat fight.
So
Yeah.
Big
Sorry,
Jim,
guys, I'm a little late.
Big Jim is
Hello.
in the house. He is here.
Yeah.
So what we were just talking about, Dad, was how some of the women would be territorial in the business, and I was asking if she still had any friends from the business, and she did say that she has one
Very, very close friend.
very close friend.
She has an incredible sexy voice. I mean, she was the girl that got the most requests when I worked with her.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So she was your biggest competitor?
You know what?
Now,
I loved her too much to let her compete with me. But I made a lot of money. She made probably more money than me, but I mean, she ended up quitting because of our boss being such a bitch. She couldn't take it. I put up with it. She was very lucky to quit when she did.
wow.
Yeah, but I love her. I love her to death.
So, as I mentioned before,
Hmm.
people definitely want to know the nitty gritty. So,
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask, I guess, a fairly decent question.
Okay.
Um, and this is actually playing off of what we had uh, last time. The whole BDSM thing. Now, could they have been acting? Sure, but I'm pretty sure if they're paying money for you to provide them a service, they're not going to be acting. And when you said snap that rubber band on whatever part of their body. How often did that happen? Hello?
Once is enough,
Well,
son.
No, no, not just that. Just
are you
that.
talking with me or with the
Yes.
calls? Those calls coming in.
Those specific calls.
Those specific calls came in. Honestly, those calls came in more during the working hours between 9 to 5. There were certain calls of the guys that would call in that would want to have it done. Like I said, that girl, my good friend Julie, I'm going to use her name Julie. That was her character name. She had the most of those calls. She had the most what is it called? Masochist?
Sadomasochistic.
Sadomasochistic. Yeah, I can never. I just say S&M, but yeah, S&M. But yeah, no, she had a lot. She had a lot. And these were powerful guys. These were guys that held high positions in their career. These were guys that probably were so exhausted for always being in charge that they wanted someone else to be in charge of them.
So do you think it was actual physical dominance they needed, or was it, like you said, they needed physical, that balance, so they had to go get a little bit of a punishment instead of putting it out?
Yes, definitely. A lot of them wanted to be punished. I remember this one guy that used to call all the time. Oh my God, he was drunk. And you could just tell the way he slurred his words. And, okay, my clothes are off. What you want me to do now, Mistress Maggie? And it took me a lot not to laugh, because I mean, just the way he would talk. And then he'd say, hold on. Wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm like, okay. What do you want me to hold on for? What's going on? I need another drink. He'd come back. Okay, Mistress Maggie, want me to piss again?
Wow.
I would tell them, pee in a cup.
No way.
There's a lot of guys that I think were in relationships where they were dominated by their girlfriends. And I don't mean in a sexual way. I mean, maybe like the girl was very high maintenance. You'd have those guys were the guys that would want to dominate the girls.
Yeah, so they were, God, it's really bad way to put it, but they were the weaker of the two sex. They were dominated in their own.
Yes. And so they would, they'd want the girl to, act like a bitch, or not a bitch, not like a dog, I want to say, but, like they want to beat your ass. They want to beat your ass, so they want to hear you spank your ass. And I hated those calls.
Did you have to do that?
Hell no, I don't hit my ass. I'm going to give you some things that I used to do. Okay.
I'd use a chicken or something, like a piece of ham, and slap the
hell. No, I tell you what, every time we go to the supermarket, I just did it today. Anytime I see a big old slab of meat right there, I just walk up to
smack it.
Give it one of those. Got to tenderize it.
Well, I'm glad you referred to that and not beating your meat today, pal. I don't want to know about your little
we're
self-conquest.
Nope, we're good.
When a girl is supposed to spank her ass, what you do is you want to spank your leg, and you do it with an open hand, so it sounds like you're actually getting spanked. Like, let me spank my ass for you. So that sounds like you're spanking your ass.
I mean,
or
if
a guy says
on the mic, you could definitely
exactly right. Then the guy says, "I want you to go down on my pecker." That's just a polite way to say it, because some of the words that they would use is stupid. So
let's get real PC here. He said penis.
Cock.
Oh, there you go.
And not the one that wakes you up in the morning unless you got morning wood. No. So then I learned how, when I first started doing this, I didn't know how to make it sound like I was giving head. So I used to have lollipops. So when they would say, okay, Maggie, we need you to, this guy likes for you to give him head. I get my lollipop and I'd undo it really quick. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. So then I would be like, yeah. And then I thought to myself, besides getting cavities and gaining weight from all these lollipops, So what I did, so I learned how to maneuver my tongue in my mouth to make it sound like I was doing it.
Wow. Now
You
was
want me?
it?
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
no,
ready?
keep going, keep going.
Oh, you're so big. You know, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, what are
I've
you
never had
sucking
that
on?"
said to me before.
Uh-oh. So then so the guys would be like, "Oh my God, what are you actually sucking on?"
What?
And then of course I would say, "I'm sucking on my rubber dick." And then I hit the phone. Hear it? And that's my finger. So there's so many ways that you can trick these guys, and so I don't think the guys that we were dominating were actually tricking us as much as we were tricking them when they were dominating us. Like when they would say they wanted us to pee in a toilet, you get a mug, but it has to be a porcelain mug, and then you pour the water into the porcelain mug and it sounds like you're pissing in a toilet. So there's all these ideas, all these little things to do to make it sound like you're actually doing what they want you to do. But those guys that we were dominating, that piss I heard was real.
They
That
had adequate
helicopter
flow.
I heard smacking up against his leg was real.
Jeez. So there's definitely tricks.
Oh yeah, you have to have tricks.
Yeah.
You're not going to masturbate on every call. Some girls do. No. But you got to have a vibrator.
So
because
really,
you always have to, pretend.
You the operators, yourself included, you guys are master magicians, right? You are you are the Chris Angels, the David Copperfields. You made the illusion that this is what's happening.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And some of their voices, I'll be honest with you, were just not attractive. So you got to pretend, I remember this one customer, and he had a voice like this. Hey, oh, hey, Megs, how are you, baby? Ooh, I am so horny today. Oh my God. And I thought to myself, God, he sounds like that girl Janice from Friends, if he was a male version of Janice. So, but man, when he would get horny, he would just start to moan, and it was an ugly moan. And there'd be times where I'd have to mute myself just to get a quick laugh in there and come back, and you'd say, "Oh, baby, huh? You like that?" And of course, I have to say, "Yeah." "Oh, yeah, baby, I like that." "Oh, yeah, am I turning you on?" "Oh, hell yeah, baby." "Ooh, again, say that again." So.
That sounded like an older Urkel.
Yeah, it did.
He just, I hope to goodness gracious that he got married, because he was just, I could just imagine what he looked like. He was just not, I don't know, that voice.
But even a lot of the guys that even even a lot of the guys that were your callers were married anyway, correct? So it didn't matter if they're single.
A lot of them, yeah,
or
a lot
married.
of them were.
The opportunity was always going to be there. You were their scapegoat from reality.
Yeah. And it makes me sad that they had to talk to us to talk about things they probably couldn't talk about with their wives. One of the biggest things that I remember being a phone sex operator with guys that are married are the fact that they're very bi-curious. These men wanted to try big black cock or cock in general. And the sad thing is that you can't tell your wife that. You can't tell your wife, "I'm craving a dick up my ass, baby. Let's go make love." First of all, she's going to say, "Oh my God, I'm leaving. I'm going home to mom,"
Especially back in the day. Probably nowadays women are a little
let me
more,
go first.
Yeah.
I know, right? Something bigger than you, babe. But yeah.
Wow. How often? So hold on. How often did that happen, though?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot. We call it BBC.
Yeah.
We got a call for you. It's a BBC. And the funny thing is, and I love these men because you know what? They're in touch with what makes them horny, what makes them get off, what makes them happy. But you've always got those guys that are very unsure of themselves, because they'll talk about it and then they stop. And they'll say, "That's not gay, right?" And then, you don't want to say, no, not really. Yeah, kind of, but not really. Or bye, so you always say, no, baby, that's hot. Oh, yeah. That's not gay at all. That's sexy. So these guys are like, well, if she thinks it's sexy, then I'm going to do some more. Then you got these
Yeah.
guys that have their toys that want to insert them in their orifices. And then you're like, and then you got to hear it. And once you hear it, then you know what to say, because these guys are scared. So you're kind of trying to help them. And, we're doing things that their wives won't do
So
or don't know about,
Go ahead, Dad.
okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm hearing what you're saying, and obviously, like I said, the type of work you were in was a huge release for many, many, many reasons.
Yeah.
But with that in mind, do you think that how much of this influenced them to physically go out and cheat on their wives or husbands or partners, to say, I'm breaking the ice. Let me see if I can do
Yeah.
it. Let me make a phone call. Can I get through this? Can I really be open? And then, okay, I can do it. Well, nowadays it's just a cell phone call away or a app away,
Or
and
a
you can
swipe
have
away.
sex at your front. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you think that
Yeah.
was an intro to action infidelity, adulthood, or adultery?
Maybe back then, not as much. I think a lot of it was, like you said, the release.
Yeah.
It's better to get off with the person on the phone fantasizing about sucking another cock than it is to actually go and find one. You know, um, the calls on Saturday mornings were heavier than the calls Saturday mornings were mostly men that are married, because their women were either sleeping, either with a friend, shopping, doing their chores, whatever. And then the men would call us, and those were the married men. And those were usually the quick 10-minute, 7-minute calls.
Jeez.
Then you've got the evening calls where these guys would do longer calls, and you can tell those were the single men, unless, of course, their wives were out of town. And we had a lot of guys whose wives traveled, for their jobs or visiting family, or they're traveling, you know what I mean? So it depends on the situation. But back then, probably not as much fooling around. I think nowadays, if it sounds good, do it. And people probably would do it more now than they would have back then.
Do
And I
you
think
think?
now, because it's also more accepted, I think
Oh,
more
yeah.
back then was more like a closet. I want to have a cock in me, or I want to sleep with two girls, or I want to be dominated, or I want to rape a girl while I'm doing her. You know, I want to, unfortunately, bestiality. I want to, I mean, those were all closets. But nowadays, I wouldn't put past a lot of freaky people that would actually talk about. And now, I remember this one guy who would talk about underage, and I believe he did. That's the one I told you about. That's the one I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
I need to call the police on him. I wish I would have. But other than that, I think they were mostly just fantasies.
Again, like I said, I mean, taking that first step into something that's forbidden, whether it be
Mm-hmm.
pedophilia, bestiality, something masochist, rape. I mean,
Yeah.
this unfortunately seems like this is, the breakthrough. If I can get away with it legally on the phone, maybe I'm gonna try to do it.
No,
I
no,
hope not.
no. I think there's more consequences if you did it over the phone. Like, for example, there was this one guy that would make you choke yourself for him. And I hated him. Gosh, I wish I could say his name out loud. No, of course I can't. I'm just teasing. But
No, that's fine. Tell us later.
no, but he used to, talk about raping you. But it's funny because when he would talk to the dispatchers, he was the nicest guy. Hey, how are you today, Maggie?
Yeah, they said that about Ted Bundy too.
Yes, exactly. But no, maybe, I don't know. I don't think this guy would actually rape. He would talk about his daughter graduating with me. One time we were saying how he's going to take her to the Hamptons. Apparently he had a big a very nice career where he was able to go to the Hamptons, take his daughter there for her graduation weekend or whatever. I mean, he was a really nice guy. But once you get on the phone, all of a sudden he was just attacking you. And I hated doing calls because my voice would literally be hoarse after the call. So I would give him to the girls I didn't like.
But when you say that, so were you screaming? Were you
or choking, coughing, like he's choking you, and so then you have to pretend, and then you have to beg mercy for him to let go of you. Then he lets go. He goes, okay, I'm going to let go of your throat. And then you're supposed to start crying and coughing, like, thank you for letting go of my throat. Then he's like, I'm grabbing your throat again. Then you're trying to gasp for air. And it was just irritating, just very irritating. So there were some girls that did a good job at it. And then there were some girls that I didn't care. I just wanted to get him off my phone.
You think the girls do you honestly think that any of the PSOs were ever into what they were being asked to do? I mean, did they actually just enjoy it?
I listened to a lot of calls as a dispatcher. There was only one girl that really fell in love with the customer and did his stupid stuff. But no, I don't think they did. No, I don't think so. I mean, we had a lot of dummies, a lot of guys that wanted to rape, a lot of guys that were into kids. I don't think these women were into that, but we were into the money. And that was the most important thing. We had bills to pay,